Hawks offense their last 5 games. Having 275, 21 runs scored, and 47 hits.
/CK.
You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Kettleers Radio Network. Tune in to all of our road broadcasts. Back from Lowell Park ahead of Game 10 between the Cotuit Kettleers and the Hyannis Harborhawks. Welcome back to the Kettleers Starting 9. I'm Joe Pratt, joined with Tyler Danberg and Lily Butler. And Cotuit looking to extend on this great run that they have put together to start off this year. And they kept it going last night with a 3-0 win over Bourne and pitching. Well, that was the story in last night's game. We saw 7 1/3 no-hit innings from the top half of that Cotuit pitching staff, and then Noah Ruin came in to finish things off, and Tyler, it was just a really good all-around game for Cotuit.
It really was. A combined 2-hitter for the Kettleers, and like you said, it took 7 1/3 innings for Cavi Castro to get that single to break the ice. But you know what stuck out? Is that the song remained the same at Lowell Park. Tucker Novotny, Chase Hopewell, and Noah Ruin, for the second time in 7 days, not only went out and pitched in the same park, Lowell Park in Bourne, Massachusetts, but they also blanked the Bourne Braves for the second time this year. That's now 2 shutouts for Kettleers pitching. That is the most in the Cape Cod League through 9 games.
And Lily, on the other side, going into tonight's game, a new face on the mound for Cotuit. It's going to be Jansen Kiesel, out of Oklahoma State. What have you seen from him?
Well, you know, he started a no-hitter in his first start at OSU for the Cowboys. And then, of course, for the Harborhawks, we're going to be seeing a guy who's making his first start for the Harborhawks. That is Jamie Arnold out of Florida State. He has not made any starts, but has had 4 relief appearances. And in those 4 relief appearances, 11 strikeouts for Hyannis. So I think it's going to be a nice, interesting matchup on the mound tonight.
And pitching is going to be a huge factor in tonight's game for sure. Like Lily said, 2 guys making their first starts of the year. And we talked with Coach Roberts just a few minutes ago ahead of this pitching contest, and we're going to send it over to that right now. We're here with Mike Roberts ahead of Game 10 between Cotuit and Hyannis here at Lowell Park. And Coach, a big win last night, great pitching performance. Just how was that to watch that unfold in Bourne?
Well, first you said Game 10. Wow, that's a quarter of the way through the season. This is flying. We're going to be out of here before we turn around. I really enjoyed the pitching performance. I thought both teams really threw the ball well. But Novotny, once he got through those first 4 or 5 pitches, and we talked to him a little bit about, look, are you a power pitcher or are you a junk baller? And after he got out of the junk a little bit, and he threw the ball wonderfully. I enjoyed that. And then that's the best I've ever seen Chase throw. He was downhill off the mound. His direction was north-south. And he just said, here it comes, hit it. So that was enjoyable. And, of course, Noah closed it out. So it was a wonderful pitching performance by 3 really solid pitchers that will eventually be in pro baseball.
You say the word downhill when talking about Chase Hopewell. What exactly does that mean for our listeners?
Well, I call it more north-south. Chase calls it, I felt like I was going downhill. You know, what we want our pitchers to do is keep their wrists toward the plate so that we're going, I've called it north-south throwing for years and years and years. If you go into Polar Cave ice cream, which we all love, and you go in there and you see the little cats going back and forth, there's 2 of them up on the wall. You know, that's what we want to do. For a guy like Chase, his mental approach and his focus is, okay, I want to go down the incline of the mound directly at the catcher instead of going east-west and make kind of a horizontal turn. So that's his terminology, is down the mound. Mine is I want him to throw the ball north-south.
If Brett Bateman's bat touched an ice cream cone at Polar Cave, it might melt right now. What have you seen from Bateman at the plate, especially in a game like yesterday when he went 4 for 4?
Well, he better not melt any of that good ice cream now. I'd get mad at him for that. That's the best ice cream in the world. Mark wouldn't like that. But, well, Brett sits still. He doesn't try to do anything fancy. He doesn't try to, drive the ball out of the ballpark. He lets the ball get to him a little deeper than some of the other guys do at times, not all the time. And he has what I call an old-fashioned level swing that I love, that I taught my son years and years ago. And I think those type players become doubles machines. But he just puts the head of the bat on the ball. We've got some other guys. Jay does that really. Jay Harry does that really well. He just puts the head of the bat on the ball. Rodden does it well. So it's old-fashioned buggy whip, hand action. Instead of shoulder action, boy. You take that whip a little bit and go whoop, and he's got beautiful hand action. Brett, I said this a couple of times. Brett Bateman is a hidden gem out of the University of Minnesota.
And on the other side tonight, Jansen Kiesel's going to make his first appearance for you guys tonight at Oklahoma State. Is there anything that you've seen from him in these first few days?
No, he's through a short bullpen. Doesn't have a lot of experience. He does have a good arm, and we'll see whether or not he goes north, south, or east, west, and keeps the ball in the strike zone. But he does have a good arm, and we'll look for 3 to 4 innings at the most from Jansen in his first outing. And that's what we do up here. We open the door for players, pitchers, to get out there and escalate hopefully what they did in the spring. And Jansen did not have a lot of opportunity at Oklahoma State. So I'm excited to watch him pitch no matter how he does. I think he is a young man that can really help us as the season goes along, and tonight's the first step.
First edition this year of the Barnstable Patriots Cup. What makes this matchup in particular a little bit more special?
Nothing. Be honest with you. I look at all the other 9 teams, same, you count it up at the end. They came up, the Barnstable Patriot came up with this, and we're happy to participate in it. We don't focus on it at all. And we want to play well. We're all in Barnstable Township here, and certainly we want to play well, and we're appreciative of the Barnstable Patriot for having the cup. But again, do we talk about it or concentrate on it? No, we'll go through the season and the guys won't have a clue what's going on. But we're very grateful for their sponsorship and support of the league.
Well, we thank you, Coach, for joining us once again. Now let's send it back to the starting 9. That was Mike Roberts, and now flipping the script into tonight's game. Well, defense has been massive throughout these first 9 games of the year for Cotuit, and it's been headlined by their center fielder, Rodney Green Jr., and Lily, you had a chance to speak with him just a few moments ago, so we're going to send it over to that interview right now.
I'm here with Rodney Green Jr. of the Cotuit Kettleers. Now, Rodney, you've been showing ability to cover a lot of ground out there in center. What does it mean to you, or what's your thought process when you're out there and a ball comes out, looks like it's going to be a tough play?
I've always been taught to just go get it. So, the first thing I think is just get that first step, and if I can get that first step, I feel like I can get to any ball.
And then last night I talked to Coach. He said you were one of the best defenders he's ever seen in college baseball. What does that mean, and how does it feel to be here playing in the Cape Cod League?
It's an honor. Like I've said to everybody I've been around here, I love being here. And just being around the guys and having that energy with the team means a lot to me, so yeah, definitely.
And then speaking of your teammates, you've been able to play with some of your guys from Cal Berkeley, that being Paul Sean for a little bit, and then, of course, Caleb Lomavita. How does it feel to be here playing with those guys?
Man, it was awesome. Having us 3 up the middle, Paul Sean pitching, Caleb catching, and me in center was honestly a blessing. I never thought I'd be able to see that again, especially knowing that Paul Sean's going through with the draft. So, it was special for me, and I thought that I was honored to be able to do it again for the last time, so yeah.
All right, thank you so much. Back to the Kettleers starting 9.
Thank you, Rodney Green, for joining the show today on the Kettleers starting 9. And now, time to send things up to the booth, where Tyler and I will have the call against Cotuit and Hyannis. First pitch right around the corner at 5 p.m. We'll see you there.
Time, I'ma claim what is mine. Now sit up and watch me cry. We hit. I told him I never tired, yeah. I told him that on the block, go there. I'ma claim what is mine. Now sit back and watch me cry. We here. I told them I never tired, yeah. I told them that on the block, go there.
By downloading the Mixler app and by searching up Cotuit Kettleers.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Kettleers Radio Network. Tune into all of our road broadcasts by downloading the Mixler app and by searching up Cotuit Kettleers.
Stay in touch with the Kets on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
This year, the Cape Cod Baseball League celebrates its 100th anniversary. For over a century, baseball has been a staple on Cape Cod, producing over 1,600 Major League Baseball players. To learn more about the Cape League Centennial Celebration, go to capecodbaseball.org today.
Gear up during the season by going to the Cotuit Kettleers store at Lowell Park, your place for all things Cats merch. Can't make it to the ballpark? You can order the latest apparel and accessories on kettleersstore.org.
Missed last night's game? Catch up on everything that happened with daily recaps and sidebar stories from Shane Patagna and Jimmy Middleton by visiting cotuitkettleers.org/blog.
There's a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience filled with family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 21st through the 24th for the induction of Fred McGriff and Scott Rowland as the class of 2023. Visit baseballhall.org today for the entire schedule. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
Hi, this is Ryan Glaney, the corner infielder for the Cotuit Kettleers, and you're listening to the Kettleers Digital Network.
Stay in touch with the Cats on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your
has been tightened. Ample parking is available at the Cotuit Elementary School. There is no parking on sidewalks. Kettleers, the Cotuit Athletic Association, and the Cape Cod Baseball League are not responsible for damages or injuries caused by baseballs. Remind you that Lowell Park is back to Lowell Park. Additionally, the Massachusetts Education Reform Act prohibits the use of any tobacco products at this location. Kettleers, Harborhawks, Cape Cod Baseball League.
From Lowell Park in Cotuit, Massachusetts, it's Game 10 of the Cape Cod Baseball League season as two West Division rivals reunite for the first time since the Cape League playoffs in 2022. It's Hyannis and it's Cotuit, and it's all on the Kettleers Digital Network. Hi, everybody, and welcome in. Alongside my broadcast partner, Joe Pratt, Lily Butler, Liam Barrett, Abigail Lott, I'm Tyler Danberg, welcoming you in from sunny Lowell Park. And Joe, the first meeting since a 3-game battle between two West Division foes, Hyannis and Cotuit.
That's right. Last year it was Hyannis to knock out Cotuit in the first round of the playoffs in a 3-game bout. But we're going to take you to the anthem right about now.
What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
And that was the national anthem, and we are just about set for first pitch between the 5-4 Hyannis Harborhawks and the 7-2 Cotuit Kettleers. Both teams coming off wins. The Harborhawks won 4-3 at Wareham and come from behind fashion, and the Kettleers with their second shutout to lead the league and their second shutout overall at Doran Park against the Bourne Braves, a 3-0 win yesterday. So Joe, let's give the starting lineups for the Hyannis Harborhawks under manager Eric Beatty.
Well, Beatty's got these guys lined up just as he did in these last couple games. It's going to be Mike Sirota making his third appearance on the Cape this summer. He was with Hyannis last year. He's batting in that leadoff spot out of Northeastern, playing in right field, followed by Will Taylor out of Clemson. He's the designated hitter for Hyannis today, batting second. Ben Williamson bats third out of William & Mary. He plays short. Billy Amick plays first base and bats in the cleanup spot. Cam Smith right after him. He plays the hot corner tonight and bats fifth, followed by Trey Lipsy out of Ohio State. He plays left field and bats sixth in the order, followed by Zach Earhart from the other OSU, Oklahoma State. He plays center field, bats seventh. Austin Kelly after him does the catching, bats eighth. And Brad Keylori, the second baseman, does the second base duties, and he bats ninth.
Starting pitching matchup is going to be a good one. We're going to see some starting debuts this year, but just in different ways. Jamie Arnold, left-hander out of Florida State, on for Hyannis. He's made 4 appearances, but they've all been out of the bullpen. This will be his first start, and this will be the debut overall of Jansen Kiesel out of Oklahoma State. Again, you talked about those OSU Cowboys. Well, Kiesel had some limited appearances. However, he had a couple good ones.
Yeah, and Kiesel, you'll see him come into this game with a fastball, slider, and change. Great command with that fastball, right around 95, 96. And the key for today is going to be if Kiesel can maintain his command with his pitches. the numbers don't really represent how good this guy is what the word is around the ballpark today. He's got some electric stuff, and across 18 1/3 innings this year at Oklahoma State, he fanned 34 batters. That went for 16.7 strikeouts per 9 innings for Kiesel, and so that's going to be big tonight, holding this Harborhawks team to few runners on base, and that's something that Cotuit pitching did amazing of in last night's win at Bourne.
What stuck out to you about that win last night at Doran Park?
Obviously pitching, going 7 1/3 innings without giving up a hit, but it really was the start for Novotny. He came out of the gates there kind of struggling to throw strikes against those first few batters. He missed the zone up with the breaking ball at times, but really sort of found his groove a little bit later on, and he got a big double play there against the second batter he faced, and so that was kind of righted the ship for him immediately there in the beginning of that game, and then he was cruising through his 4 2/3, and then of course sent it off to the bullpen. Chase Hopewell takes care of a couple outs of business, and that's exactly what Mike Roberts wanted to do. They wanted to go Novotny, they wanted to go to Hopewell to face those right-handed batters for Bourne, and then they finished it off with Ruin. It was just a perfect outcome and exactly what Roberts was looking for on Tuesday night.
That's now the 6th time in 9 games that the Kettleers pitching staff has limited opponents to 3 runs or fewer. So back on to Jansen Kiesel, junior out of Oklahoma State, 6'4" right-hander out of Gunnison, Utah. He got his start at BYU in Provo. Stayed in state, went 3-2 in 19 games and 9 starts with 58 strikeouts. That seems to be the theme, his ability to strike out batters. And then moving over to Oklahoma State, and he really got off to a good start. So he's going to face Mike Sirota, who has had one heck of a start in just 2 games. His first game, he came in as a replacement. He ended up hitting a walk-off in a 3-2 win against Falmouth, then went 3 for 3 yesterday against Wareham. He takes a called strike, and we are underway. 5 p.m. first pitch, standard Eastern time, 65 degrees at game time. Kiesel's 0-1. Bouncing ball to short. Brock Rodden. 1 away.
Well, nice start there for Jansen Kiesel. You see that 95 out of the gates for him with that fastball. He gets a quick first out against the dangerous hitting Mike Sirota. Already 4 hits on the year, like you were saying, Tyler. 2 of those going for extra bases.
And just the second time he's been retired. Defense for Mike Roberts, Cotuit Kettleers. Cole Mathis at first. Kalai Harrison at second. Brock Rodden at short. Jay Harry at third. As it's a bit inside there to Will Taylor out of Clemson. Irvin Weems is in left. Brett Bateman, 4 for 4 yesterday in center. T.O. Banks in right. Caleb Lomavita doing the catching. Kiesel's 1-0. And it sinks in 1-1. Will Taylor, newly added to the roster. Sophomore out of Clemson. Batted .362 this year for the Tigers. He's also a wide receiver on the Clemson football team. This year had 3 grabs, one of them for a touchdown. First Clemson athlete to play baseball and football since DJ Reader in 2013. He's with the Bengals. That might ring a bell. Big hook from Kiesel. 2-2. Kiesel made 9 appearances, 4 starts this year for the Cowboys. He'll bring it home to Taylor. And it's a slider wide. He held opponents to a .259 batting average this year. And in his first start at Oklahoma State, he started 5 1/3 innings of a no-hitter. Struck out a career-high 11. And he strikes out Taylor here. 2 gone.
Goes back to the heat there for Kiesel, and looks like he is settling into this one nicely. He gets their best hitter in the lineup out off a routine grounder. Then he continues things up against Will Taylor with a big K, his first of the day. Expect much more of that from Kiesel.
And then, Joe, the Harborhawks lineup continues to get tougher. It's Ben Williamson, the reigning Cape Cod Baseball League Player of the Week. He's tied for third in the league in average at a .479 clip. 1-0 the count, the pitch. And it's on the outside for a called strike one. Home plate umpire today, Mickey Garcia. William Bowers is at first, and Joe Gravina is at third. Jansen Kiesel in that combined no-hitter. That was the first combined no-hitter in Oklahoma State history since 1993. 5 pitchers combined for it. 2-1, swing and a miss. And in that next game against Loyola Marymount, Oklahoma State combined for another no-hitter. The first back-to-back no-hitters in Big 12 history. Did he tie up Williamson? No, he did not. Almost crossed him up there.
And Loma Vita thought he had it. Up and in from Kiesel. Good location. Now a big opportunity here to strike out. Like you were saying, Tyler, the player of the week.
5-game hitting streak for Williamson. And it's called strike 3. A 1-2-3 start in the debut of Jansen Kiesel. Kettleers coming up for the first time today. When we come back.
More memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
Cotuit Kettleers baseball clinics offer instructional baseball clinics for boys and girls ages 6 through 17, geared to their individual needs and skills. All participants have the opportunity to learn fundamental skills as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character from skilled, experienced coaches and top collegiate baseball players. Clinics begin Monday, June 27th and end Friday, July 29th. To sign up, go to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining.
Jamie Arnold ready to make his first start for Hyannis, and he's going to face a Cotuit lineup that is batting .275 over their last 5 games with 29 runs and 47 hits.
That's going to start with Brock Rodden right there at that top of that Cotuit lineup. He's playing short today, followed by Brett Bateman in the 2 spot, riding that 8-game hit streak. He extended it last night at Bourne with 4 singles. And batting behind him will be Jay Harry, the 3rd baseman, followed by T.O. Banks in the cleanup spot. Tanner Thatch bats 5th. He's the DH, followed by Caleb Lomavita at 6th. Cole Mathis bats 7th. And batting 8th is Irvin Weems, his first start in 4 games. And Kalai Harrison bats at the 9 spot in the order for the 2nd straight day.
Kettleers coming off a 3-0 win at Bourne. First pitch from Arnold. And it's a bit outside. Jamie Arnold has an interesting arm slot. Kind of runs away from hitters on the fastball. And it's tapped foul by Rodden. So that could be deceiving for hitters.
Especially for Rodden, who hasn't taken too many swings from the right side of the plate this year. He's been great from the left side, and you see it there. He's pointing to Brett Bateman in the on-deck circle, just pushing that palm away from his body, saying that fastball has break away from you. It has some run on that arm side there. You saw it there, Tyler. He misses a little bit wide with it, but that's something to definitely pay attention to out of the hands of Arnold.
4 relief appearances in the Cape League. First start. Right around 90 miles per hour there on the heater. 2-2 on Rodden, who's batting .265. 9 hits, a homer, and 2 doubles. And he goes down on strikes here. 12th K of the summer for Jamie Arnold, and there's one away.
Rodden doesn't like that call too much. He goes inside with the fastball, and like we were just saying, it has some run on it, so it looks a little bit more inside to Rodden than it probably actually was, and it finishes more over the plate, and Mickey Garcia rings him up a first strikeout of the day for Arnold, and he has done that plenty of times this year.
No runs, 3 hits, 12 strikeouts, no walks in 5 full innings for Arnold. He's facing the dangerous Brett Bateman. League-leading .519 batting average, and he squeezes one through the right side for his 15th hit of the campaign.
Well, we talked about it with Mike Roberts in the starting 9 pregame. Bateman doesn't try to do too much up there. He's just puts the bat in the right spots, and he finds the spots in the infield, and you saw it there. He's got a real fluid swing that he just lets the ball come to him. He doesn't try to go after it. He just waits on it and does what he can to get a base hit. You saw it right there.
And now Jay Harry, another guy that Mike Roberts was talking about on the Kettleers starting 9, is at the plate for that same exact type of swing. Arnold lets it fly, and Harry goes around on his check swing. Jay Harry tied for the Cape League with 4 doubles, the lead. Facing Jamie Arnold, his last appearance, June 18th against Brewster. Arnold tossed a scoreless inning. Swung on and missed, runner goes, throw is high, 4th stolen base on the year for Bateman.
Bit of a late takeoff that time from Bateman. Looks like maybe he was a little bit hesitant to go, maybe a little bit of a late start with the lefty on the mound. He doesn't quite know the move of Arnold yet, but yet another bag on the year for Bateman. It's just so dangerous when you have a guy who gets on base so much and then can also steal bases.
Harry launches it to right field. In comes Sirota, and the Northeastern Husky puts it away. That'll send up the cleanup man, T.O. Banks, to the dish.
From the green, William Tulane, the right fielder, number 36.
Mike Sirota made the catch. He's in right. Zach Earhart in center. Trey Lipsy in left. Cameron Smith at third. Ben Williamson at short. Brad Keylori at second. Billy Amick at first. Austin Kelly out of Lipscomb is the catcher.
Thank them for helping the Kettleers in 2023.
T.O. Banks back into the lineup. Did not play yesterday, but is 1 for 7 on the year. He jolts it to the right side, pulled in by Laurie on a bounce. And the side is retired. So Bateman gets to second, but is left there. We go to the second inning on the Kettleers Digital Network. Hyannis 0, Cotuit 0.
Check out Cape Cod Coffee at their 3 locations on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
Stay in touch with the Ketts on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
Missed last night's game? Catch up on everything that happened with daily recaps and sidebar stories from Shane Patagna and Jimmy Middleton by visiting cotuitkettleers.org/blog.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the
Shanzen Kiesel back out for the Kettleers. Joe, what did you make out of his stuff in the first inning?
Well, he showed good command with the off speed along with the fastball. We saw him with the fastball at around 95 miles an hour. He climbed the ladder a bit against Will Taylor, and then he got an outside call on a fastball against Ben Williamson to set him down on strikes. And so he's done a really nice job of locating early against a high-powered top half of this Hyannis lineup.
And it continues with Billy Amick, first-team All-American out of Clemson. He's had another great start to his summer league career. He slices it foul, does Amick. 8 for 20 this year with 2 home runs. That was in his debut against Bourne on June 16th. The 1-1. And he blasts it to left center. Weems on the run, twisting back, and he caught it for out number 1.
Well, a hard hit ball that time off the bat of Billy Amick. He's got 8 base knocks on the year. He takes that one to a deep part of Lowell Park out there in left center. But Irvin Weems, back in the lineup for the first time in a couple days, makes a nice first grab of the day for him.
Cameron Smith now takes shine away. Kiesel loses his hat there. Just shows you how much power he pitches with.
And that was 96 right there. The third time his hat has popped off in this game. He's got kind of that twist and the explosion towards home, and then the hat kind of tips off the left side of his head.
He's one of those guys, though, Joe, every time his pitch pops into the glove of the catcher, you're constantly looking at the radar gun on the scoreboard and left.
And he took a little bit off at that time. That one was 92. Maybe put a little bit of cut on it. But he found the zone low and away. Good location.
Smith out of Florida State awaits the 2-1. And it dices low. 3 balls, 1 strike. Smith has 4 hits over his last 5 games. And all freshmen in the ACC this year. Kiesel brings it home. And Smith will draw a walk. First base runner today allowed by Kiesel. And Trey Lipsy is the hitter.
He just missed a little bit up there. Kiesel just got to stay on top of his stuff here. Of course, he throws the change and the slider. Those are pitches that you definitely want to leave lower in the zone, and it looks like he's done a good job of the fastball at that so far today. And he dips it down low there again. They're right there at 91. So big change in velocity here that these batters are seeing from Kiesel. You can see him go up to 96, and then with a little cut on it down to the 91, 92 range. And then in the low 80s with the slider change.
Smith on first. 0-1 to Lipsy out of Ohio State. Missed some time this year early on in the year, did Lipsy, with an upper leg injury. But still played over 40 games. Batted .252 with 3 home runs and 28 runs batted in. But when really fully healthy, he has excelled. He takes it back up the middle. Harrison runs to the bag for 1, on to first for 2, a double play. Kalai Harrison to Cole Mathis, and Lipsy grounds into a pair. Scoreless in Cotuit, we've played an inning and a half.
The National Baseball Hall of Fame Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
Gear up during the season by going to the Cotuit Kettleers store at Lowell Park, your place for all things Cats merch. Can't make it to the ballpark? You can order the latest apparel and accessories on kettlierstore.org.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at their 3 locations on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Stay in touch with the Kets on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Kettleers in this half of the second to face Jamie Arnold. These are 2 teams that are right on each other's heels for the top spot in the West Division. Cotuit with 14 points. Hyannis right behind him with 10. They're 2 games back. High fly ball, right field. Crashing in is Sirota. He almost barely has to move there. And there's one down.
Yeah, and Thatch jumped on it that time. The first pitch he saw from Arnold, and he barreled that one up into right field, but it's not quite enough to get over the head of Mike Sirota.
So being aggressive on the first pitch, we've seen that a lot. Caleb Lomavita looks outside on the fastball at 91 from Arnold. And again, this could be a good opportunity for either team to get an edge against each other with back-to-back games coming up today here at Cotuit and then tomorrow at Hyannis.
That's right. This is a big opportunity for either Cotuit to get some cushion on that top spot in the West, or for Hyannis to get a couple legs up on Cotuit with 2 wins here in this home and home. They would loft themselves into tied for first in the West Division with Cotuit.
The 1-2 to Lomavita.
But Wareham right behind them at 9 points. Man, they've been swinging the bat well.
They really have. They've gotten a lot of big additions too. Kettleers will play them at Spillane Field this weekend. Curveball off the outside. The Hyannis dugout thought they had strike 3. Count is full on Lomavita, 4 for 12 this year with a pair of doubles. And he stays alive.
Yeah, just good job staying back there for Lomavita. It's 79 from Arnold, so a bit of a change up from the fastball that he throws in the low 90s.
The payoff pitch. And it's fended off by Caleb Lomavita, the man they call Loma, out of Eva Beach, Hawaii. Two for 4 in his last game against Harwich. He ropes it down the right field line, but it'll trickle foul. And Lomavita really a tough out for pitchers. 3-2 home. And it's ball 4. Lomavita with a hard-fought walk.
Great vision there from Lomavita. Of course, the ones that he was fouling off, they're a bit more up in the zone, pitches that he likes to attack a bit more. And that one there, a little bit close, but he's got high baseball IQ, knows that that one's below his knees, and now he'll try to go on to second. He will.
Austin Kelly couldn't find it. Amick, the first baseman, runs right near home. Lomavita takes second. Just one of those unlucky bounces for Kelly, the backstop. He wasn't sure where it landed.
It's a tough one to locate there. And Loma with good speed for a catcher on first. Takes that bag easily. He thought about third.
Cole Mathis lays off. A big turnaround second there from Lomavita, who has good speed, stole 24 bases this year at Cal Berkeley. Arnold's 2-0 serve. Cole Mathis at the dish, the two-way player out of the College of Charleston. 1 for 9 this year as a hitter. Has also made 2 appearances as a pitcher. It's tough to do one of those things, but he does both, and he does it well.
Saw him pitch the last time we were here a couple nights ago. He went 3 frames.
He hits it high and deep to left field. This ball is crushed. It's carrying. It's a 2-run home run for Cole Mathis. His first of the summer, and the Kettleers strike first.
And what a swing from Cole Mathis. We're just talking about his abilities as a pitcher. And now he shows us why he's such a great hitter as well. He just takes that one way deep to left field. It's a little bit low in the zone, a little bit inside off that front knee. Doesn't matter, he goes down and gets it. And he drives in a couple, and now Cotuit. For the 7th time this year, they score the first run of the game.
And that's their 7th home run as a team. First runs allowed by Jamie Arnold in the Cape League. 329 feet off the bat of Cole Mathis. Powered by TrackMan, providing us the numbers on that one. 2-1 to Weems. And it's foul tipped into the glove of Kelly.
And that pitch was right down the middle, too, to Cole Mathis. He jumped all over it. As we can see on TrackMan's diagram.
Weems pulls it into left center, but Earhart will flag it down. Kalai Harrison coming up to the plate.
Harrison knocking his first base hit of the campaign in yesterday's game. That really set the table for Brett Bateman to come back up and drive in a pair. It made the score 3-0 there in Bourne yesterday. All started with a pair of hits from Harrison and Rodney Green.
Arnold dips one in there for call strike one. Harrison made a great play, the inning-ending double play to strand the bases empty. And he kind of threw across his body, too, which required a lot of strength.
He really slung it over there with some power behind it. Credit Cole Mathis to haul that one in down there at first, but not an easy play to make to get Trey Lipsy.
He swings and misses at strike 3, and Arnold gets out of it. But Cole Mathis, a no-doubter to deep left field, and Cotuit is up 2-0 on their interdivision rivals. Back here on the Kettleers Digital Network, Tyler Damberg, Joe Pratt, and now we'll send it down to Lily Butler for an update. Lily?
Yeah, hey Joe and Tyler, how about that start for the Kettleers offense? But there is a name that's been missing on the lineup recently, a guy who actually celebrated a birthday yesterday, infielder Ryan Galaney, that is. I spoke with Galaney earlier. He said he had a great time celebrating his birthday yesterday, but more importantly, he's feeling a lot better. Now, earlier in the week, he dealt with a bruised quad, but he said he's recovered and he's ready to play, and Galaney says we can expect to see him back on the field very soon. For the Kettleers Digital Network, I'm Lily Butler. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Lily. And of course, Ryan Galaney was a key piece in that Game 2 win in the playoffs last year against Hyannis. He blasted a 2-run home run, and his presence has definitely been missed. Adds a lot of power into that lineup. And Jay Harry's been manning the hot corner. He's been doing a good job.
Yeah, and Harry, just a great player on the field. We were talking to him pregame, and you'll see him creep down into the infield grass a bit there because he likes to field it a little bit closer to the bag, avoid some bad hops on the infield, so he plays in to pretty much every single batter. And you see him there, right there on the lip of the hot corner.
1-0 to Zach Earhart, and it rockets a bit upstairs as Kiesel ejects the hat again. And Harry was also saying pregame he had never played second base nor third base in college, just shortstop. Popped up. Mathis, who hit that 2-run home run an inning ago, makes the grab. So Jay Harry getting a little experimental this summer, but it's worked out well.
He said the biggest difference is when you have to turn too as a third baseman. You got to turn and throw it up that line towards second, whereas a second baseman or a shortstop, it's usually just a toss, a turn, and a throw to second. But of course, as a third baseman, you don't have to worry about receiving the transfer on the double play as well, so that's one less thing you have to think about.
Here's Austin Kelly. Line drive to first, and Mathis snags it out of midair.
Well, he can pitch, he can hit, and he can field pretty nicely as well. That's two right there here in this third inning. And that time, I think he overjumped it a little bit. He caught it right about shoulder height. He jumped up as if it was going to be about 4 feet over his head, but nonetheless, still a great play to read and react off that scorching line drive off the bat of Kelly. That had extra base hit written all over it.
Kelly, an interesting story. He was signed by Hyannis after getting released by Falmouth, and then in his second game played, he had an RBI double and a 3-2 win over the Commodores. So how's that for a good start to his Hyannis career, as now Brad Keylori has the count even on him 1-1. He'll play at the University of Tennessee next year. And he flies it into left center field. Bateman sprints over. He won't get there. He cuts it off on the edge of the track. Brad Keylori has himself a 2-out, 2-bagger.
Good piece of hitting that time from Laurie into left center field. And I know it dropped down for a double, but still a great play there by Brett Bateman. He does such a great job of just getting the ball in good time out there in the outfield, and you see at that time he cuts it off before it can roll all the way to the wall. He spins and throws a good throw into the infield, and so that's really good to have out there in center, and he'll be playing alongside Weems in left and Banks in right, so a lot of speed out there in that outfield today for Cotuit.
Scorecard flips to Mike Sirota, 0 for 1 today. That is the 27th extra base hit this year for the Harborhawks. That is the league lead.
21 doubles as well. That's a lot.
That's more doubles than some teams in the league have extra base hits. So they definitely have some high slugging numbers.
And you see a guy, Sirota, with just that. This year at Northeastern, slugged at a .678 clip.
He came around to score a school record 73 runs and was a third-team All-American for a Huskies team that had a monumental year. Jansen Kiesel's 2-1. Well, how about another gorgeous day and a great crowd? A lot of fans on both baselines, especially the Cotuit side, packed. And the Hyannis crowd, not too far of a drive, they've traveled well. 3-1. And it's a walk. The second ushered in by Kiesel. Sirota takes it. Runners on first and second with 2 away.
Will Taylor, number 35. Taylor, number 35.
Well, that's not a bad play right there if you're Kiesel. Walk the top man in their order in Mike Sirota. It'd be tough to keep him quiet throughout this one, but this Hyannis team, they got a dangerous lineup. They'll have to face the hard-hitting Will Taylor after Sirota, followed by Williamson, who led the league in batting average for quite some time. That was, of course, before Bateman surpassed him in that category.
And Bateman already today 1 for 1. He's now 5 for his last 6. 0-1 to Taylor. And it misses. 1-1. Hyannis, they're a team where if you're an opposing pitching staff, no lead is safe. Their last 2 games, they've erased a 3-0 deficit and a 2-0 deficit. The 1-1. Tagged the other way into right. Banks coming in. He won't get there. Laurie scores. Throw to third. Not in time. And it's an RBI single for Will Taylor.
It's a tough play for Banks to make. Sun in his face to begin with, but it's just a little flare into right field, and it perfectly nestles in between Harrison and Banks right there in shallow right field. And for Will Taylor, it's his 4th hit on the year. Drives in another run, and it's a 2-1 game. Cotuit still with an advantage, but Kiesel got to get out of this 2 runners on with 2-out jam. Sirota just 90 feet away.
Got the first 2 batters out of this inning. Throw to first, not in time. And the last 3 batters have reached base. A double by Brad Keylori, a walk for Mike Sirota, and then an RBI single for Will Taylor, his first plate at home this year. First pitch to Ben Williamson, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. On the ground to short, Rodden throws to first, and it's in time. Hyannis cuts the deficit in half, but Kiesel leaves runners on the corners. 2-1 Kettleers as we go to the bottom half of the inning on the Kettleers Digital Network.
By going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Kettleers Radio Network. Tune in to all of our road broadcasts by downloading the Mixlr app and by searching up Cotuit Kettleers.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at their 3 locations on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
This year, the Cape Cod Baseball League celebrates its 100th anniversary. For over a century, baseball has been a staple on Cape Cod, producing over 1,600 Major League Baseball players. To learn more about the Cape League Centennial Celebration, go to capecodbaseball.org today.
We welcome you back from sun-splashed Lowell Park, a crown jewel ballpark here in Cotuit. Tyler Danberg, Joe Pratt, Lily Butler, Liam Barrett, Abigail Lott with you for Game 10. Joe, is it crazy to think that we're almost a quarter of a way into the season?
Man, we're already double digits, too. It's flying by.
It really crept up on Mike Roberts, the Cotuit manager. He didn't realize it as well. He said, Game 10? Already into the season. Time is flying.
And here's a guy who's been with the team since day one, Brock Rodden.
He's played in every single game. He's led off in nearly every single game. Jamie Arnold's 1-1, and Rodden taps it foul. Ground balls are what Jamie Arnold does really well. He induces a lot of outs on the ground. 47 ground outs this year at Florida State. He had 49 strikeouts. And when you're getting as many ground outs as strikeouts, you're doing something right. But there, he doesn't need one on the ground. There's a strikeout to Brock Rodden. And Arnold gets his 3rd K of the day.
And second looking K of the day for Rodden.
Bateman, number 26.
Possibly doesn't see it quite as well from that side. That was just his 10th AB, batting right-handed this year.
2-1 Cotuit. Bateman 1 for 1. 5 for his last 6. He's got a 9-game hitting streak. Joe, do you think that Arnold gets a lot of ground balls because of that specific angle he has with his arm?
I think so, and I think you see that a lot with sidearm and submarine guys. They force a lot of ground balls, so similar arm slot here from Arnold. Of course, with the spin on that ball, it's spinning to that arm side, so really easy for lefties to roll over it to the right side of the infield. Really easy for right-handed batters to just try to get a piece of it and put the bat on the ball and then chop one up the middle.
Arnold offers, Bateman takes strike 2.
But he's not overpowering with that fastball. He just kind of tries to locate it well, not trying to throw it by you. He's got a really smooth delivery to the plate.
Bateman comebacks it to the mound, and Arnold makes the catch. Brett Bateman almost had hit number 2, but cat-like reflexes for Jamie Arnold gives Hyannis 2 outs here in the home half of the 3rd.
You saw it there, a line drive right up the middle. That was a breaking ball right around 83 to Bateman, and it kind of just stalls out. There's a ton of spin on that ball from Arnold, and then it's off the end of the bat of Bateman, so it's right back at him. He has a little bit more time to react, and he makes a nice play with the glove on that right hand.
Jay Harry jams one to second. Glove flip to first. He got him. Brad Keylori flashing the leather, and Harry's retired for out number 3. How about that little glove flip there from Laurie, Joe?
What a perfect play for him. This defense really picked up after Mathis went yard to end things in the 2nd.
So we will go to the 4th, moving quickly here at sunny Lowell Park. 2-1 Kettleers lead on the Cats Digital Network.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
Stay in touch with the Kets on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
Hi, this is Ryan Glaney, the corner infielder for the Cotuit Kettleers, and you're listening to the Kettleers Digital Network.
There's a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York.
2-1 Kettleers, Jansen Kiesel back out for Cotuit. The Cats got 2 in the 2nd on a 2-run blast by Cole Mathis, his first of the season, and then Brad Keylori doubled. Mike Sirota walked. Will Taylor drove in Laurie with a 2-out single in the 3rd. And Joe, we've just seen a lot of good baseball through these first 3 frames.
And just one big swing on either side is the difference so far in this one. Cole Mathis home run, as you were alluding to. And then Laurie with that big double in the 3rd inning. That was with 2 outs. He's able to stay on base, stay on second. Will Taylor comes up and tucks one in right field. But other than that, Kiesel's looked great for Cotuit. He's been missing a little bit high with the fastball so far, but no damage done. He keeps everything else pretty much low, which is what you need to do with that off speed.
Fly ball, right field, Banks, 1 down. Kiesel knows how to make a debut. We talked about his combined no-hitter start and his first appearance for the Cowboys. His first start for BYU his freshman year for the Cougars. He pitched a quality start, went 6 shutout innings in a win for BYU. He's here in his debut for Cotuit. He's allowed 1 run on 2 hits.
And how about that OSU staff really picking him up after that 5 1/3 no-hit innings, they were able to complete it.
Shot through the hole and into left. A single for Cameron Smith.
Gives up his 3rd hit there, but back to that OSU pitching. Not only did they complete the no-hitter that Kiesel started in that game, they also took it into the next game as well.
I mean, that's just something that you really can't script. It's only been done in Major League Baseball once. Of course, that was by one pitcher, Johnny Vandermeer, which I believe was around 1912. Lipsy pops it right back to the screen. 0-1.
It's the first time in Big 12 history that happened.
And the first time since 1993 in program history that a combined no-hitter was thrown. It took 30 years for that to happen, and then it happens twice in 2 games. Here's the 0-1 to Trey Lipsy. Backdoor, just closes on him.
That was a great pitch from Kiesel, and it hugs the outside corner. Hard to believe that one didn't cross over the front of the plate. Loma Vita held it there. Still, just great backdoor slider that time from Kiesel.
Trey Lipsy does not get hit. It rolls to the backstop. Smith takes an extra base. Kiesel tried to run it in there on Trey Lipsy.
Just got to calm down a little bit here. If you're Kiesel, he should have got that pitch from the one before and maybe takes out his anger a little bit with the fastball.
High pop-up. On the lawn is Weems, and he'll pull it down. So there's 2 away in the top of the 4th. Trey Lipsy is now 0 for 2, sending Zach Earhart to the plate. So we'll see Oklahoma State versus Oklahoma State. Kiesel versus his teammate Zach Earhart. Oklahoma State well represented in the Cape Cod League.
They had a great year this year in the Big 12. Spent most of the year ranked inside that top 15 in the nation. And of course, a pretty good run there in the Big 12 tournament as well. And Kiesel pitched in that as well. He pitched a game against Texas Tech, struck out 7.
He threw 96 pitches in that game against Tech. 1-1. And that was his longest outing and the most pitches he had thrown all season, but the longest outing since he missed a lot of the month of April with a shoulder injury. And then in his 4 appearances back from that, a 3.85 earned run average, 13 strikeouts, and 10 walks. 1-2 to Earhart. Way up high. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
There it is again, just got to stay on top of the fastball. A bit more there. He throws it for great velocity. He has a little cut to go along with it. Looks like in the low 90s, and that's been a great pitch as well. He's gotten a couple guys to pop out on that pitch, so let's see if he goes back to that here, that low 90s cut.
Here's the 2-2. Swing and a miss. Breaking stuff at 81, and Kiesel is through 4. We go to the home half of the 4th inning on the Kettleers Digital Network. Cotuit 2, Hyannis 1.
Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience filled with family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 21st through the 24th for the induction of Fred McGriff and Scott Rowland as the class of 2023. Visit baseballhall.org today for the entire schedule. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at their 3 locations on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
Gear up during the season by going to the Cotuit Kettleers store at Lowell Park, your place for all things Cats merch. Can't make it to the ballpark? You can order the latest apparel and accessories on kettleersstore.org.
Missed last night's game? Catch up on everything that happened with daily recaps and sidebar stories from Shane Patagna and Jimmy Middleton by visiting cotuitkettleers.org/.
Time for the last of the fourth on the Kettleers Digital Network. Not too many clouds in the sky. Of course, on the screen right now, you see that big gray and white cloud, but Joe, I think that's pretty much it. Rest are all just blue skies and sunshine. Can't beat it.
Those clouds were a little bit over the outfield before this game started. They've since pushed away back over the trees. You'll see the shadows creep in a little bit on the left side, going to the right side of that infield, but great day here in Cotuit. We've been long overdue.
Yes, we have. 65 degrees, the game time temp. T.O. Banks 0 for 1, looks at a called strike from Jamie Arnold. What kind of clouds do you think those are?
Stratus?
I'll take your word for it. That's the verdict. Stratus clouds hovering over Lowell Park. Right off the Atlantic Ocean. That ocean breeze blowing towards the first base dugout, which might not allow for balls to really leave the yard. It's a gusty 11 to 12 mile per hour windy day. We've seen some fly balls die out and left. 1-2 to Banks. Well, T.O. Banks might have joined the team a little bit sooner, but his 18-40 Tulane Green Wave happened to make one of the most impressive runs in recent tournament history. High chop to short, and Banks almost beats out the throw from Ben Williamson. 1 away. But Tulane, Joe, they just kept on winning in the AAC tournament, and they just made it all the way to the regionals.
It's really great to see when a team makes a great run like that, a team that not many people expect to really carry on and make a good World Series run, but Tulane was one of those teams, Oral Roberts, one of those squads that really manufactured a couple big wins down the stretch there. Makes it a lot more fun to watch, and you have a bit more smaller schools, some mid-majors creep into the World Series conversation.
That's the beauty. It's a big melting pot of schools, just like the Cape League. A lot of representation. Ground ball to third. Smith, who was already playing over, rifles out Tanner Thatch, who's now 0 for 2 today. So Smith was almost right around shortstop, and he was playing in. So it was slowly grounded to short, but Smith was able to get it over to first in time and quickly. Caleb Lomavita bounces it to second, gathered by Laurie, and Lomavita's retired for the inning ending out. So we will go to the 5th inning. Jamie Arnold, after giving up that 2-run home run to Cole Mathis in the second, has settled down. He is now retired the last 8 batters he's faced. 2-1, Kettleers leading as they eye their 8th win of the campaign.
Blog.
Stay in touch with the Cats on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
Cotuit Kettleers baseball clinics offer instructional baseball clinics for boys and girls ages 6 through 17, geared to their individual needs and skills. All participants have the opportunity to learn fundamental skills as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character from skilled, experienced coaches and top collegiate baseball players. Clinics begin Monday, June 27th and end Friday, July 29th. To sign up, go to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK.
You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Kettleers Radio Network. Tune into all of our road broadcasts by downloading the Mixlr app and by searching up Cotuit Kettleers.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Kettleers Radio Network. Tune into all of our road broadcasts by downloading the Mixlr app and by searching up Cotuit Kettleers.
Stay in touch with the Kets on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date.
Jansen Kiesel out for his 5th inning of work. Tyler Danberg, Joe Pratt, Lily Butler, Liam Barrett, and Abigail Lott with you this evening. And Joe, well, there's a reason why we're up at the booth and not in the science lab, because after further review, those are in fact cumulus clouds.
That's right. They're a little bit thicker, kind of like a half circle with the bottom of the cloud kind of being parallel to the surface of the earth. Now, stratus are a bit more long, and they cover vast areas of blue sky. They're a bit thinner. So my bad on that one.
Austin Kelly flings it to center. Bateman backtracks. And there's one away. He got really deep there. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And Austin Kelly there went pretty deep, but still in the park. It's 397 to dead center, so it takes a lot to go yard out towards central. And Kelly's now over 2. Brad Keylori doubled and scored back in the 3rd, out for his 2nd time. And Kiesel bullets one in there. Brad Keylori this year played at the College of Central Florida, teammates with current Cotuit reliever Cam Schulke. They won a D1 JUCO World Series. Keylori batted .335 this year with 11 home runs and 40 driven in. The 2-1. Falls in for strike 2. This year with Hyannis, Lowry now has 8 hits, 2 doubles, a triple, and 6 runs batted in a team-high 9 games. The 2-2 from Kiesel, and a spinner foul cued off the end of Lowry's bat. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called. Jansen Kiesel rifles out another. That's his 5th K of the day.
And he goes back to a little bit less than fastball that time, 91 on the gun, and he picks up another K. He's looked great, and it's a great job to rebound after Lowry knocked a double against him his first time up. So Kiesel wins the 2nd battle.
That's the 3rd strikeout looking. 2 by Kiesel. Mike Sirota is ahead in the count. 2 balls, no strikes. Sirota's 2nd year in the Cape Cod League. Played 18 games with Brewster. Then moved mid-season to Hyannis, played 22 in total. Batted .339 in the regular season with Hyannis. And has played in now 10 games against Cotuit. And it hit him. So a 2-out base runner for the Harborhawks. That's where they got all their base runners back in that 1-run 3rd.
That one just runs a little bit in that time from Kiesel, and we were talking with Mike Roberts in the starting 9, saying that he doesn't expect Kiesel to go more than 3 or 4, but he's pitching this time here into the 5th for Kiesel, so it's good to see him expanding past that limit that Roberts had set for him. Means he's doing something.
Broken bat tapper to third. Harry tosses across. And for just the second time this year, a Kettleers starter has gone 5 full frames. First it was Joe Whitman on opening day. Now it's Jansen Kiesel. And he preserves the 1-run Cotuit lead. After this break, we'll send it over to Joe Pratt for the play-by-play and more on the Kettleers Digital Network. We've got a good one here at Lowell Park.
With scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
This year, the Cape Cod Baseball League celebrates its 100th anniversary. For over a century, baseball has been a staple on Cape Cod, producing over 1,600 Major League Baseball players. To learn more about the Cape League Centennial Celebration, go to capecodbaseball.org today.
Gear up during the season by going to the Cotuit Kettleers store at Lowell Park, your place for all things Cats merch. Can't make it to the ballpark? You can order the latest apparel and accessories on kettleersstore.org.
Missed last night's game? Catch up on everything that happened with daily recaps and sidebar stories from Shane Patagna and Jimmy Middleton by visiting cotuitkettleers.org/blog.
There's a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience filled with family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 21st through the 24th for the induction of Fred McGriffin.
Back at Lowell Park, it's the bottom of the 5th inning. From Cotuit, Massachusetts, Joe Pratt joined with Tyler Danberg. Liam Barrett is here. Abigail Lott also with us in the booth, and you'll hear from our sideline reporter Lily Butler in just a few moments. But before then, a new pitcher on for the Harborhawks, Hiroyuki Yamada out of UC Santa Barbara. And he will also be pitching to a new catcher inserted into this game. It'll be Aaron Parker, the catcher out of UC Santa Barbara. The pitcher, Hiro Yamada. He comes out of Mount Hood Community College in Oregon.
And not the first Mount Hood guy to make his way to Hyannis.
Of course, last summer, out of Mount Hood Community College came Riku Nishida, batting for Hyannis last summer. This one dribbled on the ground to the left side, backhanded there by Williamson. And he makes the first play here in the bottom of the 5th inning to get Cole Mathis. Mathis with that 2-run homer to open up the scoring back in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 2 now on the day. That'll bring up Irvin Weems.
And Cole Mathis making a good piece of contact, allowed out. But a good pitch by Yamada to get out number 1.
First pitch to Weems is in there for strike 1. 74 on the breaking stuff that time from Yamada.
And watch this really interesting close stretch, abbreviated windup, really slow, and then the pitch.
And he gets a swing and miss, 74 again.
And it really just shows how he can have the hitter kind of on his own terms. Good advantage for the pitcher.
He's ahead of Weems. And he goes right back to that breaking ball there, front door. At this time, it's a little low to Irvin Weems, who's 0 for 1 on the day. He flew out to center his first time up. And one thing that Yamada does is come set after he starts that delivery. Now the 1-2, he pushes that one a little bit outside, this time to Weems. So he has that left foot way in front of the right, brings it back. It's at that time that the hands meet at the belt, as he does here, and the 2-2 home. Weems swings through it, and it's strike 3. And so first strikeout of the day for Hiro Yamada.
Number 7 for the Kettleers, Haley Harrison.
He had a great end, did Yamada, to his season at Mount Hood. threw 13 Ks in 8 innings against Lane Community College. A 3-2 victory.
First pitch here to Harrison, lays down the bunt. He's going to beat it out down the first base line. He'll take a look at second, and he's going to be in there standing. The throw gets away from the first baseman, Billy Amick, and it's 2 bags with 2 gone in the 5th inning for Kalai Harrison.
There's a great piece of bunting. It's a slow slider right around knee high, so Harrison has all kinds of time to really focus on the placement of the bunt, and that he did. Just perfectly squeezed up that third base line. Smith, the third baseman, wasn't expecting it, so he had to really come in, made a nice backhand play with his bare hand, and threw to first. And even the first baseman, Amick, played it in front and played behind it, so just to be safe, but somehow it found a way to get past him.
And it brings up Brock Rodden batting from the left side for the first time today. He gets a hold of this one, launches it just foul down that right field line. And Rodden 0 for 2 batting from the right side today. He struck out looking twice at the hands of Jamie Arnold. Arnold did that 3 times in his outing, his first start of the summer, 5th appearance. As Rodden awaits this 0-1, he goes out to get it, dribbles it on the ground, diving is Laurie, and he stands up, he can't make the play. So Rodden aboard on first for an infield single. It looks like they'll rule that as an infield single, so Rodden continues that on-base streak to 7 games, and the runners will be on the corners now.
And rightfully so, Joe. That was pulled to the right side. A nice diving effort by Laurie, but he just was not able to get it. And this is a big opportunity for the Kettleers at the top of the order. We'll see how Eric Beatty is going to come out and talk to his team to see what they do with Yamada. They might play the matchup game and go for another arm.
Nobody warming in that Hyannis bullpen right now.
Yeah, one reliever just took off his sweatshirt, and it might be too early in Yamada's day to really pull him.
Well, he got the first 2 guys he faced out on a grounder to short, and he followed that up with a strikeout on Irvin Weems. But Harrison laid down that nice bunt down that third base line to force a hit. And then, of course, Rodden pulls that one to the right side of the infield, and he gets himself a hit as well. So 2 straight infield singles here for Cotuit. Of course, Harrison advanced to second on the error. But now with runners on the corners, it'll be up to Brett Bateman. The red-hot Brett Bateman looking to extend this lead, and he will. It loops into right center field for a base hit. That'll bring home Harrison from third, and the Cats take a 3-1 lead.
And it seems like all Brett Bateman can do is hit. Give him now 6 hits in his last 8 at-bats, and he just lightly grazes it into right, perfectly wedged between the second baseman Laurie and the right fielder Sirota. Takes advantage.
And so how about this 2-out hitting here for the Kettleers in the bottom of the 5th inning? 3 straight base knocks after starting it off with 2 outs. They'll take second and third as well with no contest.
And the catcher, and Aaron Parker, who's in out of the University of California, Santa Barbara, he didn't even think about second or third. He just rifled it back to Yamada, the pitcher.
Just focusing on the task at hand, which is that 3rd out in the inning. Jay Harry ahead of that breaking ball that time, and now it's 0-2. So a good opportunity here for Yamada to escape this 5th inning. 2 on, 2 out. They take their leads at second and third. Bateman over there on second, Rodden on third. The 0-2 home from Yamada. Just outside, he let out a grunt that time on the 79-mile-an-hour pitch. And the count moved to 1-2.
He doesn't have a lot of speed, partner, but what I've been watching a close eye is that sometimes he'll take a little bit slower of a windup so he can really focus in on that target and where he wants to throw it.
1-2. Harry gets under this one, lifts it into center field. Oncoming is the center fielder Earhart, and he makes the play on the run there. And so that's going to do it through 5 innings from Lowell Park. The Kettleers extended their lead by 1. They're now up 3-0, 3-1, I should say, on the Kettleers Digital Network, headed in to the top of the 6th inning. Now we're going to send things downstairs to our sideline reporter, Lily Butler. Lily?
Tonight at Lowell Park, a new season of a decades-long rivalry begins. The Hyannis Harborhawks and the Cotuit Kettleers have a competitive background that really took off in 2002 but was made official in 2004 with the introduction of the Patriots Cup, a contest between the two Barnstable teams. Now, Hyannis was the first to take home the cup, but the Cotuit Kettleers are your reigning winners this year, starting that quest for this year's Patriots Cup. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Lily. Some good information on this historic series between the Kettleers and the Harborhawks. Of course, last summer, the Kets taking home that Patriots Cup. They won 3 of the 6 games, and they tied one of those as well. So by default, that one fell in the hands of Cotuit. But of course, Hyannis able to get their number back in the playoffs.
Yeah, 1-2 in the postseason, and that was ultimately what knocked Cotuit out. They did win here, though, in this very ballpark. But a really cool story about the Patriot Cup, and great job by Lily, as always, telling it. It was created by David Curran, the former Barnstable Patriot sports writer, created in the early 2000s, and the tradition's just stuck. The two Barnstable teams going at it today.
And now a new pitcher on for Cotuit to start things off in the top of the 6th inning. Jansen Kiesel goes 5 strong. He gave up 1 earned. He struck out plenty, and now it tosses things over to Carson Osmer out of Penn, on to make his first appearance of the summer, activated to this Kettleers roster not too long ago. So he'll be looking to continue the pitching prowess that this staff has showcased in these first few games of the year.
And another guy that ultimately had to show up late to summer ball because his team, Penn, made a regional.
His first pitch up high to Ben Williamson. Williamson out of William & Mary. Hit just under 400 there this year. And he takes ball 2 outside. You can see Osmer's delivery to the plate, release point way out over the third base side of that mound, especially since that foot will be placed more towards the third base side of the rubber. And he twists and fires this one, and it's gets just out of the reach of Cole Mathis down that first base line. He gave it a good run, but a weakly hit pitch off the end of the bat of Williamson. It finds some green grass, so a fortuitous break that time for Williamson, who's 0 for 2 on the day. He grounded out to Rodden in the 3rd, struck out looking in the 1st, those both against Kiesel. Put together a great day on the mound. As this one finds the zone, that's strike 2. In there at 89 from Osmer. Payoff pitch. This one sent into left field. It's going to bounce into left center field. He puts that one right into the alley there, and Williamson on for the first time today. Leads things off with a single in the 6th.
I think that a 6-game hitting streak there for Williamson. William & Mary's first Colonial Athletic Association Player of the Year in 9 years. Gets on base for the first time today. Little CAA reunion there at first. Cole Mathis at the College of Charleston. Two of the conference's top players this year.
Swing and a miss that time from Billy Amick. He's also 0 for 2 on the day, and Williamson, a great hitter in the box. This year, 14 of 15 when stealing bags at William & Mary. This one shot to the left side and through into left field for a base hit. So back-to-back singles to start off the 6th for the Harborhawks.
And they've just found ways to find some open spaces on those pitches from Carson Osmer. There he drags a slider that ran away from the hitter Amick. But he gets out in front of it just enough where he's able to squeeze it between the shortstop Rod and the third base Harry.
They'll face Cam Smith. Smith going after the first pitch. Sends it foul down that first base line.
They're being really aggressive on the first pitch on Carson Osmer, the Harborhawks.
It's a bit of a different arm slot. Obviously the mix-up in velocity as this one catches him up high. 90 off the left shoulder of Cameron Smith. And Hyannis will load the bases here in the 6th inning with nobody gone. Mike Roberts on out of the Cotuit dugout. Says not how he envisioned the first start going for Osmer. He appeared in 25 games this year for Penn, all out of the bullpen. A 1.83 ERA across 34 and a thirds innings. That's just 7 earned in over 30 innings pitched. He struck out 35 as well. He only walked 8 guys, so this is uncharacteristic here from Osmer to load these bases and still not record an out.
He's the definition of a strike thrower for a Cotuit bullpen in which he fits the mold for. They like guys that strike out a lot of batters and don't walk any, as most teams would. But they really love low walk numbers, and Osmer in a little bit of a pinch and a really lengthy mound visit. The home plate umpire, Mickey Garcia, it's almost like he's just listening in, kind of hearing what Mike Roberts has to say. Now he's going to say that's enough, and he'll go back to home. But a really lengthy conference at the Hill.
Mickey Garcia let him finish what he wanted to say to his right-handed pitcher who has loaded the bases in his first appearance. And that his 7th collegiate walk in his career, and he pitches a low and in breaking ball that time to Trey Lipsy. Played for the Ashboro Zookeepers in 2022 in the Coastal Plains League. And he gets a piece of it here, does Lipsy. It's just into the glove of Loma Vita. Count evened at 1-1. And there he had a 10.2 ERA, giving up 17 earned across 15 innings pitched. But he also struck out 18 there as well. So he strikes out at a high clip. Big swing and a miss here from Trey Lipsy, and a nice diving breaking ball that time from Osmer just falls down around his ankles, and he's ahead 1-2.
Yeah, Lipsy drove in 7 runs in one game once with the bases loaded. A 3-run double and then a grand slam.
1-2, it's just outside.
That was on March 19th against the Dayton Flyers.
He set the 2-2 home. Finds the zone, a backdoor slider, and that's strike 3.
76 right on that outside corner, almost like a frisbee there from Osmer. Wiffle ball-like movement. That's tough for a left-handed hitter because it really looks like it's trailing wide, and then it just breaks in at the last moment.
First pitch to Zach Earhart is just up and in. 88 out of the hands of Osmer, and that'll be the last throw that he completes today. As Roberts out of the pen, he makes the move out of the dugout. He'll make the move to the pen. And it'll be a left-handed arm on now for Cotuit. Bases still loaded here at Lowell Park. Cotuit trying to preserve their 3-1 lead. And a pitching change. We'll be right back from LP in just a moment.
Scott Rowland is the class of 2023. Visit baseballhall.org today for the entire schedule. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
Hi, this is Ryan Glaney, the corner infielder for the Cotuit Kettleers, and you're listening to the Kettleers Digital Network.
Stay in touch with the Cats on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
Cotuit Kettleers baseball clinics offer instructional baseball clinics for boys and girls ages 6 through 17, geared to their individual needs and skills. All participants have the opportunity to learn fundamental skills as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character from skilled, experienced coaches and top collegiate baseball players. Clinics begin Monday, June 27th and end Friday, July 29th. To sign up, go to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as... New pitcher on for Cotuit is Rafe Schlesinger out of the University of Miami. And he's on to make another appearance in this CCBL season, but this one... Well, this is a big one. Bases loaded here in the top of the 6th inning. And Schlesinger will come set. He has to face Zach Earhart out of Oklahoma State. He takes a ball one inside.
It's been a tale of two appearances for Schlesinger, but his first one was a good one. A 3-inning save against the Chatham Anglers last Thursday.
Kicks and fires. A fastball in there for strike one. And fastball's at 91, but it's got a lot of arm side run on it. As he slings that thing from the sidearm 3/4 angle. He gets a nice call right there on the outside corner.
And perhaps that's part of the reason why Mike Roberts went to Schlesinger, a lefty, with a right-hander and Earhart up, because of that run.
Aaron Parker in the on-deck circle, also a righty. This one, a shot on the infield. Harry playing up. He goes to home for one, on to first for two. And the Kettleers turn two to leave the bases loaded in the top of the 6th. They maintain a 3-1 lead. Coming up to bat after this in the bottom half of the 6th frame on the Kettleers Digital Network.
I'ma claim what is mine. Now sit up and watch me cry. We hit. I told him I never tired. Yeah. I told him that on the block. Oh,
4, 5, and 6 due up for Cotuit here in the bottom of the 6th inning. They extended their lead to 3 in the 5th against Hiroyuki Yamada out of Mount Hood Community College. He's right back out there once again for his 2nd inning of work. He'll face the heart of this Cotuit lineup in T.O. Banks, Tanner Thatch, and Caleb Lomavita. This is a part of the lineup still looking for their first hit on the day, Tyler.
Yeah, they're just eyeing Yamada. Teed up on it well.
Leading off for the Kettleers.
But again, we've seen some good at-bats in this back end of the order.
Tulane.
But it's been the top that's really supplied the production.
Well, it helps when you have league leading in batting average Brett Bateman up there in the top half of the Cotuit order as Banks turns away from this breaking ball from Yamada for ball 1. Banks will be the 7th batter Yamada faces in this one. As he comes set during his delivery, that 1-0 catches Banks on the left elbow.
Yeah, well, you saw back-to-back pitches where Yamada tried to throw that front door breaking stuff. Almost hit Banks the first time around and almost came back to boomerang into the zone. But this time it comes up a little bit even more empty.
The first time he throws that front door breaking pitch, and he'll step off here as Banks takes his lead. But then he kind of goes back to a little bit more of a higher velocity breaking ball that still cuts into the zone, but just a little bit too much of a late break. It catches Banks off that left elbow guard.
Well, you see there, Yamada kind of sidearms that. So he has a couple different arm slots. And we're talking about these arm slots because they can really make a difference against different hitters.
The 1-0, Banks running onto second. The throw there, he's safe. It was a good throw from behind the plate by Aaron Parker. But a good job by T.O. Banks to read the timing of Yamada and snag a bag, his 2nd of the year.
That's something that Banks did do. At times, he stole 5 bases this year, a career high at Tulane.
Yamada, slide step home, and a big swing that time from Thatch. 84 miles an hour in the top of the zone. And Thatch was thinking Hyannis bullpen with that one. He's 0 for 2 on the day with a fly out to right field, a grounder to the left side of the infield. As he moves home, he swings through an 80-mile-an-hour breaking ball that time, and the count even at 2. Of course, Yamada, real difficult guy to steal off of because he will stall as long as he wants almost with the ball in his glove and that left foot behind that right heel for as long as he wants. He looks back at the runner on second, and now he moves home. And Thatch connects on this one into right field. Sirota right there in perfect position. Banks tagging. The throw there. He will slide in safely on the fly out to right field off the bat of Tanner Thatch. And boy, what a throw there from all the way across the field from Mike Sirota.
Sirota gunned down the would-be tying run in the 8th inning of yesterday's win against Wareham. This time he almost threw out Banks on an absolute seed from right. And Banks had a lot of speed. He got a great jump on it. But my goodness, Joe, that was cannoned in there from right field.
Eric Beatty on to make his 2nd pitching change of the day. The 3rd arm out of the Hyannis bullpen, making his way to the mound here at Lowell Park with a runner on 3rd. That's T.O. Banks, and 1 out in the bottom of the 6th inning. It is 3-1 from Lowell Park. Indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at their 3 locations on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
Stay in touch with the Cats on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
Missed last night's game? Catch up on everything that happened with daily recaps and sidebar stories from Shane Patagna and Jimmy Middleton by visiting cotuitkettleers.org/blog.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime.
New pitcher in for Hyannis is Carter Lovaz. And he comes by way of William and Mary, so more representation from W&M on this Hyannis roster. And he'll come in to face Caleb Lomavita with a runner on third and one out in the bottom of the sixth. And Tyler, big opportunity here for Loma to drive in another run on the year, but also for Cotuit to try to make this a 4-1 game.
Yeah, a big chance because this could allow even more separation. We've seen in a couple games at home. We saw in the Brewster loss, the Harwich loss at Lowell Park, where there's no such thing as enough insurance. So Lomavita looking to try and provide just that against a tough 6'3" righty in Lovaz. Fourth appearance for him already. Just now 10 games into the campaign.
See plenty of that in the early stages of the summer, just trying to get your arms in before you lose these guys to the draft, to the MLB Draft Combine, and Team USA as well.
We're talking about it. I mean, this is right around the time where we really see some great baseball. Guys have come in from the NCAA tournament. He brought up a great point. Guys were coming in. The draft is still about a month away. The draft combine just starting now, but the draft is still a little bit ways away. So a lot of guys maximizing the chance to play.
Loma showing bunt. It's popped to the right side and foul towards the Hyannis dugout. But of course, it's a good time to watch some Cape League baseball. A lot of these guys on both sides will be shipping off for the MLB draft in a couple of weeks. And of course, most teams finished up with all their regionals as well. So pretty much a full strength roster almost on either side as Loma shows bunt here, but it's a called strike one out of the hands of Lovaz. He's ahead 0-2. And Yamada goes 2 1/3. The pitch, Loma puts a bat on the ball. It's going to get over the infield and into center field for a base hit. Right off the end of the bat from Caleb Lomavita, and it scores Banks from third. Cotuit takes a 4-1 lead.
That's just a great piece of hitting there for Lomavita for his first RBI of the year. That's a routine pop fly if the infield's playing straight up, but obviously Hyannis is going to play in to try and protect the lead runner at home. So Lomavita, what does he do? He just gets a little bit of a three-quarter swing and drives it to the back of the diamond.
Infield will move back to normal depth for Cole Mathis. He lunges at that one there. It's a strike one. Of course, he opened up the scoring with that homer back in the second. And that came with Lomavita on first. And he'll go back there safely. It's nice to see a guy like Lomavita start to get the bat hot. Of course, a returner for this Mike Roberts Kettleers squad in 2023. An all-star in 2022, and he takes off as Mathis gets a hold of this one, line down the left field line, and it's fair. That one will go into the corner. Lomavita rounding third. He will score. Mathis into second, and the Kets lead 5-1. Mathis drives in his third run of the day and his second extra base hit. And now it's a 4-run deficit as they welcome Carter Lovaz to this game.
Have a day, Cole Mathis. 3 hits on the season, 2 in this game, and they've plated 3 total runs. He's a guy that has said before, he said hitting is really the fun part. It's kind of like an extra value to pitching.
They'll say Lovaz flinched there, and it's a balk, so Mathis will make his way to third. After his one-out double to score Loma Vida. And just a 54-mile-an-hour exit velocity on that Loma Vida single that escaped the infield. It bounced once on the dirt there, right behind second base, as the infield will come in now here for Weems' at-bat. And of course, Mathis takes a short lead over there at third, and Lovaz is set. The 0-1 home, and Weems takes ball one outside. And more hit and run action that time for Mike Roberts. Loma Vida was going at first. That's why he scored easily. And Weems chops this one to the left side. Cam Smith fields it there. Mathis will have to stay where he's at. As Lovaz gets an important second out there, it's still 5-1.
That's a big recovery there by Lovaz. He comes in and got a great situation with guys on base. Replacing Yamada. And then Mathis gets on him with an RBI double, but then he responds with a ground out to third.
It's Kalai Harrison. He takes ball one low. That one 81 from Lovaz. So a couple different style of arms we've seen in this one. You saw the slow delivery from Yamada out of the right side. Arnold with a nice delivery to the plate. Kind of just smoothly tosses it in there and pounds the zone at that. That one was in there on the outside corner for strike one. Lovaz, more of a three-quarter style. Big lanky reliever here on for Hyannis, as Harrison will get a piece of that one, put it into the fencing behind the newly painted Cotuit C right there behind home plate.
And shout out to Elliot Wolf, getting up early this morning, applying that white English C stenciling. Well done.
A true artist. This 1-2 sent foul into the home grandstand. It hits the back of the fence there. Looks like everyone's okay. Off the end of the bat of Harrison that time, and Elliott does a great job of providing us with our StatCast numbers mid-game. That's why we got that information on Loma Vida's single there, the bloop single that scored T.O. Banks from third. Of course, we had the numbers on that Mathis home run as well, brought to you by TrackMan, just under 330. And now he stands over at third, trying to score the sixth run for Cotuit. It's on the ground to the left side. Charging in is Williamson. He makes the throw across the diamond, and that ends the sixth inning. But Cotuit brings a pair across. They extend their lead to 5-1. And we're through six from Lowell Park. Rafe Schlesinger back out there for another inning of work on the Cats Digital Network.
Time at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
Gear up during the season by going to the Cotuit Kettleers store at Lowell Park, your place for all things Cats merch. Can't make it to the ballpark? You can order the latest apparel and accessories on kettleersstore.org.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch, as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at their 3 locations on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Stay in touch with the Kets on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Kettleers Radio Network. Tune in to all of our road broadcasts. Aaron Parker takes strike one on the outside corner there to start things off in the top of the 7th inning. Some more insurance in the bottom half of the 6th for Cotuit as Schlesinger is back out there, and a big swing that time from Aaron Parker, who was inserted into this game a couple frames ago. As a defensive substitution behind home plate for Hyannis. Schlesinger lets it fly. Just low and away, 79 on the gun that time. On the backdoor slider, it's 1-2. Of course, that slider and two-seam work well together. And the 1-2, he goes back to that two-seamer, and it's chopped foul. Off the end of the bat of Aaron Parker, on to make his first AB of the afternoon. And plenty of shadows creeping in from left to right here at Lowell Park. The 1-2, a high chopper on the infield, Rodden charging in. He fires, and there's one gone in the 7th. So for the first time today, Aaron Parker retired, and Rafe Schlesinger back out there after relieving Carson Osmer. He loaded the bases to start things off in the 6th. And they brought on Schlesinger after Osmer was able to get a looking K, but they turned 2 at home to end that 6th inning. So some more great defense for Cotuit, being able to escape some jams.
Yeah, that double play is one that really just executed their defense. 5-2-3.
You see why Jay Harry was playing so far up on that infield. Fielded that one perfectly. The runner has no choice but to go home. So it's an easy play at home for Loma Vida. And then for him, just completing the throw on the inside part of the first base bag down there to Mathis. A momentum changer in this one. As this one spoiled foul to the right side from Brad Keylori, and he is 1 for 2 on the day. A looking K in the 5th. From Jansen Kiesel, he hit a double in his first AB in the 3rd. That was with 2 outs. As the 2-2 lines this one up the middle and through into center field for a base hit. And so that's his 2nd of the day. We'll bring up the top of the order in Mike Sirota.
And just a simple swing there from Laurie. And what's interesting about that hit, Joe, is that it just went over the tip of Schlesinger's mitt, and then it also hit the top of the webbing of Rodden's mitt. You rarely see a hit so perfectly placed where it goes off the glove of 2 players.
Really fitted into a tight window there. 77 falls about knee height to Mike Sirota. And it's called there for a strike 1. Nice movement on that pitch from Schlesinger. The lefty deals. It's up and away.
Well, there are 13 hits in this game, and outside of Mathis's double, his home run, a lot of these, and Laurie's double as well, a lot of these have been really well placed. It's more so about the placement, not necessarily the extra base hits.
Schlesinger has placed a pair of high 70s sliders on the lower half of the zone to Sirota, looking for that finishing pitch, and he got him. He goes upstairs with the two-seamer, and Sirota unable to pull the trigger. And there's 2 gone in the 7th.
And Schlesinger's location, Loma Vida's frame, got Sirota to jump a little bit right after he heard the strike call from Mickey Garcia, jumping as he knew that that was strike 3. Although, again, that's a really tough pitch to swing at. As a hitter, you're just programmed not to swing at those because they're just so close on that outside third.
He goes back to the same location there, this time with the fastball. And Will Taylor holds off for a called strike 1. It's a tough pitch to tell, especially with the amount of run that Schlesinger puts on it, and he goes a bit more over the top here. Grounded to Rodden, and they'll make the easy play there at second to end the top of the seventh. Cotuit coming up to bat on the bottom half of things, and it'll be the top of the order. 1, 2, 3, Rodden, Bateman, Harry, when we come back. Cast by downloading the Mixlr app and by searching up Cotuit Kettleers.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at their 3 locations on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
This year, the Cape Cod Baseball League celebrates its 100th anniversary. For over a century, baseball has been a staple on Cape Cod, producing over 1,600 Major League Baseball players. To learn more about the Cape League Centennial Celebration, go to capecodbaseball.org today.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
Stay in touch with the Kets on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
Hi, this is Ryan Glaney, the corner infielder for the Cotuit Kettleers, and you're listening to the Kettleers Digital Network.
There's a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience filled with family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 21st through the 24th for the induction of Fred McGriff and Scott Rowland as the class of 2023. Visit baseballhall.org today for the entire schedule. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
Cape Cod Coffee is a proud sponsor of the Kettleers. They offer breakfast and lunch as well as indoor and outdoor dining. Check out Cape Cod Coffee at their 3 locations on Route 130, at Mashpee Commons, at Wareham Commons, or on their website at capecodcoffee.com.
Gear up during the season by going to the Cotuit Kettleers store at Lowell Park, your place for all things Cats merch. Can't make it to the ballpark? You can order the latest apparel and accessories on kettleersstore.org.
Missed last night's game? Catch up on everything that happened with daily recaps and sidebar stories from Shane Patagna and Jimmy Middleton by visiting cotuitkettleers.org/blog.
Stay in touch with the Cats on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
Another new pitcher on for Hyannis here in the bottom of the 7th inning. He'll be facing the top of the order in Brock Rodden, Brett Bateman, and Jay Harry. The new pitcher for the Harborhawks is Crow Sivley out of Southern Miss. The left-hander will be facing Brock Rodden, who's on for his 4th AB of the game, the 3rd from the right side. He was 3 for 8 against left-handed pitching entering this game, now 3 for 10. As the first pitch from Sivley, he swings through a 68-mile-an-hour breaking ball for strike 1.
Redshirt freshman for Southern Miss. Collected the win to send Southern Miss to the final of their regional. Can really mix up his timings.
He went just over 58 innings, struck out 59 batters. And he's ahead of Rodden 0-2, who is already struck out looking twice in this game. Reached base on a single in the 5th. 0-2. Gets a hold of this one, it's foul. Just to the left of Mike Roberts down that third base line. They'll have to do it again, that time 74.
And Sivley, perhaps the chance to provide some aid to this bullpen that's already used 3 previous relievers. His final 3 appearances, he went at least 4 innings in postseason play.
12 strikeouts in that stretch as well, as this one's 87 and off the hands of Rodden. Rodden stole his 4th bag of the year back in the 5th inning. He's tied with Bateman with 4, and that one goes through the wickets of Aaron Parker. Count moves 2-2 here to Rodden, 70 on the gun that time. And for Cotuit, they've put runners on base in the last 2 innings. They've been able to score them in both of those. The 3rd and 4th inning, the offense went silent, 6 up, 6 down, as that one's just outside at 74 to Rodden. The next couple guys they brought up to the plate, well, it was 2 out hitting in the 5th inning, started by Kalai Harrison. He came home to score. Rodden sends this one into left field. That one gets down for a base hit. And so Brock Rodden takes a big round around first there, but he'll return, and it's his 2nd single of the day.
Rodden's been really getting going very silently, Joe, because pretty much everything he does is all singles. The occasional double power, that home run back on opening day against Yarmouth Dennis, but a lot of singles. But he just silently really gets on base and makes a huge impact.
And he's going on the first pitch. Back firing is Parker. It's not in time, as it takes Williamson about 8 feet into the air. He can't apply the tag to the speedy Rodden. He grabs his 5th stolen bag on the year.
Had a great takeoff there against a lefty. We've talked about it time and time again, partner. It's so tough to steal against crafty left-handers like Sivley.
And going into this one, as that one falls in there for strike 2 to Bateman, going into this game, Rodden was 1 for 3 in stolen bags against left-handed pitching, and that time showing no hesitation going on the first pitch. As you see plenty of lefties kind of take advantage of that 45-degree angle rule. Rodden takes a big secondary before the pitch is released. Here's the 0-2. Right up the middle, off the ankles, that time of Sivley. Kareem's over there to Williamson, and he fires on to first to get the out. But Brock Rodden over to third. And now there's one gone in the 7th.
How about that kangaroo hop off the back of the mound? It went off the mound, it went off the glove of Sivley, and then rolled right over to Williamson. Talk about right place, right time. The shortstop able to rifle out Bateman. He's 2 for 4 today. And both of his outs, Joe, have gone right to the mound. The first one was a comebacker caught. This one, a little help from the shortstop.
Sivley starts off Jay Harry with a fastball right over the heart of the plate as the infield comes in for the 3rd time today. And that's the 3rd time in the last 2 innings. They're all on the infield grass. The 0-1 home to Harry. This one hit well into right center field. That'll take Sirota to the alley there, and he makes the catch. But Rodden tagging up at third. He will score. So a 6-1 lead now for Cotuit. And Jay Harry gets involved with some production. He puts the Kets ahead by 5.
And big insurance boost there. 6 runs batted in now for Jay Harry. He just drives it to medium deep right center field. Sirota really had to maneuver to his right. And again, that's what you have to do. If you want to try and beat the throw home on a sac fly, on a fly ball to Sirota, who's got a great arm, you got to really punch it deep into the gap.
Rodden scores easily from third. He picked up his 4th hit against left-handed pitching on the year. Banks right back up the middle for a base hit. And so the hitting parade continues in these last couple innings for Cotuit. More 2-out production off the bat of T.O. Banks.
And that breaks a 0-for-8 streak against Banks. He doubled in his first Cape League at-bat Sunday night against Chatham. Had been making some really good contact, but had not been able to find some open greenery. That time he does. Goes right middle fastball, and he keeps it consistent and goes to center field. A lot of balls hit in play to center.
Runner going. Banks slides in safely. His second stolen bag of the day. Make that 3 on the year for the Tulane outfielder.
He had 7 in just his first 2 college years. He's already got 2 in 3 Cape Cod League games.
He's getting dirty out there at second base. Looks like he enjoys this aggressive style of baseball that Mike Roberts endures. As that one's strike 1 in there to Tanner Thatch. The first pitch missed to Thatch, count 1-1 to him. And he's still looking for that first hit on the day. He has 8 on the year. Entered this game hitting at a .364 clip. That was 7th in the league. Banks a big secondary at second, and that one a little bit low and away, called to strike 2. And Thatch not too pleased with that call. Looked a little bit outside. A good frame job by Aaron Parker, the catcher. 1-2 home. Thatch goes after that one. He comes up empty. It's the 3rd out of the bottom of the 7th inning, but Cotuit adds 1 more off a sacrifice fly from Jay Harry. We head into the 8th inning. It is 6-1 Cotuit on the Cats Digital Network. And now before the 8th inning, it's time to check in with our sideline reporter, Lily Butler. What do you got for us, Lily?
Well, another at-bat for Brett Bateman, who currently leads the league in batting average with a .519. Just a second ago, I heard Bateman and Harry having a conversation about his batting average, where teammate Jay Harry was congratulating Brett Bateman, to which Bateman responds, "I just do my job. I just show up to the field and do my job." And what a great job he is doing. Guys, back to you.
What a great job Bateman is doing indeed. I mean, he's just continued that hit streak for Cotuit. And of course, he's been the best bat, obviously leading the league in batting average, but continuing it today. More timely hitting from Bateman, 2 out hitting back there in that 5th inning to drive in a run.
Just all it seems like he does is hit, and he hits singles. He finds the gaps. It's something that Mike Roberts described before the game on the starting 9 as doubles power. And Bateman has 3 doubles on the year, the rest all singles. And that just shows you his identity as a hitter. And he doesn't strike out too much either, which is another thing that sticks out.
1 strikeout so far this year for Brett Bateman, who makes his way out to left field. He started the game in center, but Rodney Green was inserted into the batting order in the 8th spot for Irvin Weems, and he now plays in center. As the first pitch catches the lower and outside half of the zone to Ben Williamson. He's 1 for 3 on the day. A single his last time up in the 6th inning. He was the leadoff batter in that frame. He's the leadoff batter here. Just looking for that second hit on the day. It was his 12th. 1-1 home, and he takes strike 2. So more great movement on that slider from Schlesinger, who's working from the windup here, and the 1-2 home. It's a chopper to Schlesinger's left, and Harry's on to make the play. Harrison on the other side of the infield, but he makes a nice play there, and that's the first out of the 8th inning.
Yeah, Kalai Harrison, Jay Harry, kind of flip-flopping positions. Harry today at 3rd.
Harrison showing his great athleticism at 2nd. He got the start there at Bourne yesterday. As that one falls in for a strike to Billy Amick. He's 1 for 3 as well. We saw it a couple innings ago, turning that double play by himself. in the second. That was to get Trey Lipsy to end that inning. Had to throw across his body, moving towards the third base line. A real difficult play to make. Kind of a similar play that he made on that one. This one weakly hit off the end of the bat. Harry charges in. He fires. And it's not in time to get Amick at first. So a swinging bunt that time off the bat of Billy Amick, and he's aboard with one gone in the eighth.
Yeah, for those who have ever watched the movie Major League, that's a Jake Taylor-esque type hit. Swinging bunt rolled up the third baseline, and Jay Harry, who we've talked about the entire game, him playing in by default, he was already having a play on it and almost had that throw to first on the run. Good job, though, to beat it out by Amick.
First pitch is just outside to Cam Smith. Schlesinger looks at the runner on first. He moves home. It's a swing and a miss on that pitch there. 88 miles an hour. It's 1-1. Do you prefer, as a third baseman, to play a little bit more up, eliminate those hops? It seems like Harry has really handled everything that has been hit in his direction. You just got to be okay with it being a little bit speedy off that bat.
Yeah, I think so, because even if you play even with the bag, you have a good read on it, and especially if the shortstop's a little bit closer, they can back you up. And if there's a chopper that's kind of hit over the third baseman, which it really takes a high bouncer to do that on natural grass, that'll allow the shortstop to come over and maybe help to have a play on it. If not, you keep it in the infield.
The 3-1, this one hit well to the left side, and it's through the midsection there of Brock Rodden. Just can't quite get the glove to the ball, and there'll be 2 on here in the 8th inning for Hyannis. It'll bring up Trey Lipsy.
Rodden's had some struggles this week at shortstop. He's made a few errors. That one's a really tough play, because not only do you have to backhand it in the hole, you have to make the transfer, then make the throw, and then you have to beat out a speedy Cameron Smith. So not much Rodden can do about that. That's just well-laced by Cameron Smith, who's had a couple of really good pull side ground balls for singles.
Also credit to Schlesinger with the great movement on his pitches. Just guys aren't necessarily finding ways to put the barrel on the ball, but they'll hit it sharply at times. He's a ground ball thrower. And you saw it right there. You saw Amick get a piece of one and get on base as Trey Lipsy swings through that one. The count's 1-1 now, as we'll have a pinch hitter on for Trey Lipsy, excuse me. And he sends this one to the left side. Diving there is Harrison. He goes to second for one. They get the force there. And that was Alex Lane who laced that one to the right side. And he'll be safe at first. But a nice play by Harrison there. And they get the second out at second.
What a play there, ranging to his left by Harrison. That takes away a would-be second run for the Harborhawks. And you get that runner at second. Obviously no double play ball with 2 outs, but you do have a force play at second still.
First pitch up and away to Zach Earhart. Starts him out with a 91-mile-an-hour heater. Schlesinger dealing with runners on the corners now and 2 out. Earhart takes strike 1. And that one was a hit off the bat of Cam Smith to Rodden. So still no hits on the day, excuse me, no errors on the day for Cotuit, as Lomavita has to smother that one in the left-handed batter's box. Cotuit 8 errors on the year going into this one at a .975 fielding percentage. That's tied for 4th in the CCBL. This one lined to first, and Mathis makes the play there. He steps on first for good measure. They only needed 1 out, and we're through. 7.5 from Lowell Park. Cotuit still ahead 6-1 on the Cats Digital Network.
Cotuit Kettleers baseball clinics offer instructional baseball clinics for boys and girls ages 6 through 17, geared to their individual needs and skills. All participants have the opportunity to learn fundamental skills as well as good citizenship, sportsmanship, and character from skilled, experienced coaches and top collegiate baseball players. Clinics begin Monday, June 27th and end Friday, July 29th. To sign up, go to info.collegebaseballcamps.com/CK.
You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Kettleers Radio Network. Tune into all of our road broadcasts by downloading the Mixlr app and by searching up Cotuit Kettleers.
Cotuit Baseball lives here on the Kettleers Digital Network.
You're listening to Kettleers Baseball on the Kettleers Radio Network. Tune into all of our road broadcasts by downloading the Mixlr app and by searching up Cotuit Kettleers.
Stay in touch with the Kets on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind-the-scenes content, and more. Follow us today.
When the unexpected happens, make sure you and your assets are insured appropriately. The agents at Leonard Insurance Agency can tailor coverage to meet your needs. Call 508-428-6921 to talk to their licensed agents today.
This year, the Cape Cod Baseball League celebrates its 100th anniversary. For over a century, baseball has been a staple on Cape Cod, producing over 1,600 Major League Baseball players. To learn more about the Cape League Centennial Celebration, go to capecodbaseball.org today.
Gear up during the season by going to the Cotuit Kettleers store at Lowell Park, your place for all things Cats merch. Can't make it to the ballpark? You can order.
Caleb Lomavita, the first batter for Cotuit here in the bottom of the eighth. He checks his swing, but they'll say he did go there. 69 out of the hands from Cross Sibley. Entered in the last inning for Hyannis. This one skied just outside the infield. Over to range for it is Williamson, and he makes the play there. And so one quick out here in the bottom of the eighth that brings up Cole Mathis.
First baseman, Charleston Mathis, number 23.
A couple of defensive substitutions for Hyannis as well. Alex Lane pinch hit for Trey Lipsy there in the top half of the eighth. He stays in the game at first. The first baseman, Billy Amick, will move across the diamond to third, and the third baseman, Cam Smith, is now located in left field. The 1-0 home. Mathis takes a ball 2 inside.
Sibley just has that really downwards curveball. 76 there. Almost kind of like it cuts underneath the hands there to a right-handed hitter like Mathis.
He gets a piece of it there. But Mathis, great day at the plate. Today he's 2 for 3. Couple extra base hits. He started it off with that homer. A double his last time up. That drove in Lomavita all the way from first on the hit and run. He takes a strike 2. That one was a little bit low and away. He'll make sure with Mickey Garcia. The count even at 2. Infield playing straight away. Outfield a little bit shaded to the left. 2-2 home. It's way outside. Count full. So another good AB here for Cole Mathis. The left side of the infield shifted way over. A big gap by second base. He chops this one foul towards Mike Roberts down the third baseline. And so he's put together a pretty good at-bat here against Cross Sibley. Count remains at 3-2. There's one gone. A 6-1 Kets lead in Game 10 of this season. Sibley set, delivers home. Mathis budges, but he does not go. He accepts a walk. So he returns to the base paths for the second time in as many ABs.
I think it's safe to say this is early on in the Kettleers' career of Cole Mathis that this might be his best game. He's been really solid today everywhere, too. He's played a good first base as well. Squeezed the inning ending out of that 8th inning. Of course, to go with the homer and the double.
He's really improving on that OBP. And now for the first time, it's Rodney Green. He was replaced as a defensive substitution in the 7th. And Mathis back to first again, standing up. Green got the start in the last 5 games for Cotuit in center field. He plays a great center field out there. Talked to him before the game on the starting 9. Great interview conducted by Lily Butler, who talked with him about playing with his teammates, Loma Vida, and for a time there, Paulson Pasqualato. He takes a strike 1 on the inside corner. It's cool to have that triple battery in the Cotuit field with Loma Vida behind the plate, Paulson at the mound, and Rodney Green out there in center.
The Cal line, if you will. Catcher all the way up towards center.
1-1. Green taps this one foul, checks his swing, but the ball still grazes the black bat that he handles there. It's 1-2. I was thinking maybe a AAA battery. You call a AA battery.
Ooh.
The catcher and the pitcher. 1A, 2A.
Oh, you're on to something.
And then AAA with the center fielder in Green. And he connects on this one, but it's a tapper foul to the right side. So he stays alive at 1-2.
You know, this is a terrible thought, and this is probably a stupid question, but is that why they call the pitcher and the catcher the battery? Because it's double? It's AA?
I think it's more of the positive and negative in the combination that they have with North and South Pole.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. It's always like, it's just one of those thoughts that's just kind of ushered in. You just, you
Where
just
did
know
that
it's a
come
battery.
from?
Yeah. But you never think about
Exactly.
its origins.
Right. Dark knowledge. The 2-2. Green slaps this one to the right side. There to field it is Laurie. Tosses to second for 1, and they complete it onto first for 2. And so Cotuit, not much offense to show for in the bottom of the 8th inning, but they'll look to complete this game with Rafe Schlesinger back on the mound in the top of the 9th on the Ketts Digital Network.
For the latest apparel and accessories on kettleersstore.org.
Missed last night's game? Catch up on everything that happened with daily recaps and sidebar stories from Shane Patagna and Jimmy Middleton by visiting cotuitkettleers.org/blog.
There's a weekend in July where the baseball world revolves around a village in upstate New York. Baseball Hall of Fame induction weekend in Cooperstown is an unforgettable experience filled with family-friendly activities and priceless moments. Make your plans today for July 21st through the 24th for the induction of Fred McGriff and Scott Rowland as the class of 2023. Visit baseballhall.org today for the entire schedule. See you in Cooperstown, where the journey becomes legend.
Hi, this is Ryan Glaney, the corner infielder for the Cotuit Kettleers, and you're listening to the Kettleers Digital Network.
Stay in touch with the Ketts on our social media. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram by going to Cotuit Kettleers to keep up to date with scores, pictures, behind the
Top of the 9th inning from Lowell Park, and it's Rafe Schlesinger out there to get the final 3 outs in this one for Cotuit, looking to close out their 8th win of the year and to improve to 16 points, way ahead of second place Hyannis there in the West Division. He starts off Aaron Parker with a strike on the outside half of the plate. Cotuit, this is a big opportunity here to get some cushion in between that first and second spots in the division. He gets a good swing and miss right there on Aaron Parker as well. He's ahead 0-2.
Yeah, and it's a unique opportunity because usually you don't have back-to-back games unless it's a doubleheader against one team.
Hit sharply on the ground to the left side. Rod in there. A long throw across the diamond. And he makes the play. It's in time to get Parker.
It's almost like we're getting close to what it would feel like if there were an interdivision series being played, where, 2 or 3 games are played between two teams, and the chance to take a few games of a lead against another opponent in the division is evident.
Well, now they're 2 outs away from taking a 6-point lead in the West Division. Count 1-1 here to pinch hitter Eric Snow. He hits for Brad Keylori out of South Florida. The 1-1 in the dirt, 2-1. But Laurie, a good day at the plate, 2 for 3. The lone strikeout in the 5th, but a double and a single, a run scored. And that was the first hit of the day for Hyannis back there in the 3rd inning.
What a bullet there by Mickey Garcia. Hey, I hate to get you off track there. My goodness.
2-2. Just outside. Tries to bring it back a little bit. Does Schlesinger. Count run full here to Eric Snow. The pitch. This one high. Chopper over the pitcher's mound. Rod in there. And he makes the play. There's 2 gone in the top of the 9th. And it'll be Mike Sirota. Sirota hits in his first 2 games on the year. This is 2nd start. And of course hits in both of those appearances as well. He sends this one into right field. That'll take Banks to his right. And he makes the play there. The 3rd out here in the 9th inning. And that completes a 6-1 Cotuit win over Hyannis. And they extend their lead on the West Division to 6 points.
And how about that win for the Kettleers? They give up a single on an RBI with 2 outs in the 3rd. They don't allow anything after that. A big response by the bullpen. The offense, another strong day with 9 hits. That now gives them 56 over the last 6 games. Just a really good stretch right now for the Kettleers as they go to face the Harborhawks tomorrow.
Well, it was in last night's game that Hyannis was able to put together 5 scoreless innings out of the bullpen in their 4-3 win over Wareham. But tonight, it's the Cotuit Arms who blank the Harborhawks for 5 straight innings in the second half of this one. And so an amazing performance once again for this Cotuit pitching staff, just solidifying why they're the top in the league in terms of earned run average. And they improve further upon that tonight. They were 2.73 entering this game. That was first in the league by quite a bit. And they continue to improve on this tear as the team gathers just to the left of home plate here. Looks like Caleb Lomavita will conduct the selfie that's being taken here amongst the entire team.
They're having a lot of fun right now.
That's right, and that's usually the case for a team that has won 8 of their first 10 games out of the gates on the season. They have 16 points, and Mike Roberts will be joined by Lily Butler at field level in just a couple moments. But Tyler, it's a game where the bats got going early in the 2nd inning off of that Cole Mathis bomb, and they went silent for a couple innings, but they came roaring back in a solid finish tonight for the Cotuit offense.
And that's the key, because we've seen time and time again with Cotuit in the early goings of the season where they'll get out to an early start and then the bats will just consistently start to go away a little bit, and that's a props to some opposing pitching staffs. But this time, against a really good Hyannis bullpen, the Kettleers, after being retired in 6 straight at-bats, they retaliate in the 5th, and they don't look back after that. And that's the difference. And their ability to scrap out wins like this offensively is going to come down to if they can continue to just be consistent at the plate. And they did exactly just that today.
Indeed they did. It was 3 pitchers on the mound for Cotuit. Jansen Kiesel. Robert said before the game on the starting 9 that he expects him to go no more than 3 or 4, but he goes 5. He gives up that 1 earned. Picks up a bunch of Ks along with that. He only allowed 3 hits in the outing. And he walked 2, so a great day for Jansen Kiesel in his first start.
Yeah, and that's, again, Joe, you brought up a great point. Just 2 walks there for Kiesel. We talked about some of his, not necessarily problems, but he has had some trouble sometimes walking guys, but cut down the walks this year at Oklahoma State in 18 1/3, and then just 2 walks here in this outing, and he really had the stuff working early. That 3rd inning in which the Harborhawks got that run with 2 outs, that was with 2 outs. So he had really, through the first 8 batters, had mowed down that Hyannis 9, and then he recovered after that and got through 2 more frames, which just really shows his ability to recover and have that short-term memory, which is so crucial, especially for a starting pitcher.
13 walks. The last time we were here on Monday night's loss to Harwich. And now just 2 walks tonight for this Cotuit pitching staff. It was just the 2 that Kiesel tossed. And so a great rebound for this Cotuit team back at home at Lowell Park. And Mike Roberts will be joined with Lily Butler down at field level in just a few moments. They break their huddle. Those guys are exuberant after 8 wins on the summer. First place in the Western Division. And Mike Roberts making his way over to join Lily Butler field level right now. And Lily Butler is ready with Mike Roberts. Mike Roberts, what do you got for us right now?
Hey guys, joined alongside head coach Mike Roberts here in Lowell Park after a 6-1 victory against the Hyannis Harborhawks. Coach, just about everything you could want to see in a good game of baseball tonight. The team, each piece working seamlessly together. How would you describe tonight's performance?
Very cohesive, as you just stated. The pitching, Kiesel got us off to a really good start, throwing strikes. And the offense, I thought, again, played a little bit of everything, a little bit of hit and run, got a home run, got a bunt single, stole several bases, and again, we need all of that combined to be a really good offensive club. So it was a really good game, and Hyannis has a lot of good players on their offensive unit, so I was really pleased with our pitching today.
And then Cole Mathis with half of the team's RBIs tonight, including a 2-run home run. What have you seen from him tonight?
Well, I hadn't played Cole but a couple of times in our 10 or 12 games. But I like his swing. In batting practice, I really like what I see. It's short, it's quick. He's a good-sized young man. He's very strong. Ball jumps off his bat, and tonight was the first night that he felt, I think, really comfortable. They had left-handed pitching in, which is kind of coming into him. But I was the happiest, actually. He's probably the happiest with the home run. I was actually happiest with the hit-and-run double because he executed it not only with the double, but he executed it what we like to do with the body and the hand so that he gets a line drive somewhere. So I'm really happy for Cole that he had a wonderful game today.
All right, me as well. Thank you so much, Coach, and congratulations. From Lowell Park for the Kettleers Digital Network, I'm Lily Butler.
Thank you, Lily. Thank you for that, Lily, and thanks again to Mike Roberts joining us down there for postgame after this 6-1 win over Hyannis. And Mike Roberts incredibly pleased with the offensive performance of his team and obviously pitching that has been phenomenal so far in these first 10 games to start off the season. And Cole Mathis, with a great offensive day, drove in 3 runs for the Kettleers. The winning run back there in the second inning off that 2-run homer, well, it was enough to grab their 8th win of the season. So your final score from Lowell Park, well, we'll see you tomorrow night in Hyannis at 6 p.m. at McKeon Park. They'll do it again. But in Game 1, your final score is Cotuit 6, Hyannis 1 on the Kettleers Digital Network.
Scenes content and more. Follow us today.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.